Time, meanwhile, notes that in Japan, green-colored desserts are almost universally green tea flavored, and a number of you noted that in China, they have quite popular green candies that taste like guava. But yes, overall, lime has failed to make much global traction. In fact, several of my friends were quick to observe that in many parts of the world, limes are so exotic that many languages don't even have a discrete word for them. They're just considered weird green lemons. In Latin American countries, however, where limes are king, it's the exact opposite, as my friend No Name explains. Here in Brazil, and I imagine most of Latin America, things are definitely a bit different. Lemon flavor, as Americans see it, is non-existent. At least here, limes are popularly just called lemons, specifically Tahiti lemons, to differentiate them from Sicilian lemons, which are the yellow ones and quite a bit more expensive. So green is always lemon flavored or lime flavored to Americans. Another Brazilian friend, Precisa, adds, I'm Brazilian and would say that the main fruit flavors in candy here are mostly the same as in the US, except there is never cherry. Red is always strawberry, or sometimes frutas vermelhas, red fruits. But it's almost never called cherry, which is a fruit most Brazilians have almost no experience with since they don't grow here and are very finicky to transport over large distances. This idea of a single generic red fruits or fruits of the forest flavor is common in Europe as well, where these terms are often used to pitch a sort of generic berry flavor that supposedly combines strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, and sometimes even the exotic American cherry into a single sweet taste. Blackcurrant is sometimes included in the fruits of the forest medley as well, particularly in the UK. Many of my British friends said that over there, blackcurrant is almost certainly considered one of their big 5 fruit flavors, usually in the place of cherry. One person described the taste of blackcurrant as a grape-like flavor, but turned up to 11, more like port wine than grape juice. Brits are regularly shocked that blackcurrant is so unheard of in America, given that blackcurrant flavored candies and soft drinks are such a staple part of British childhoods. But the reason for this, as you might know, is that blackcurrant spent much of the 20th century banned in the US as an invasive species. According to this article in Business Insider, blackcurrants are known to spread a fungus that kills pine trees, the backbone of America's timber industry, but a tree of much less commercial value in Europe. From what I understand, the ban is much less absolute these days because people have since developed disease-resistant breeds of blackcurrant, but the cultural barrier remains. When you haven't eaten something in 100 years, after all, it can be very difficult to change your tastes overnight. And speaking of cultural barriers, let us now break out of the Western bubble and talk about the glamorous foreign flavors of the East. My friend Kemra from Turkey says flower flavor is something that is used a lot in sweets and desserts in Turkey. We have candies made with rose, clove, and sometimes lavender flavors. A very common type of Turkish delight has rose flavor, and there are also several desserts prepared with rose water. I noticed this myself when I was in Israel a few years ago. The degree that more delicate floral flavors remain quite popular in Middle Eastern countries, where they tend to be fond of aromatic foods where the smell is as powerful as the taste. Sweets flavored with orange flowers, as distinct from orange fruits, tend to be popular in the Arab world, as do things flavored with aniseed or licorice root, which their palates are sophisticated enough to understand as 2 distinct flavors. In many Arab countries, licorice juice is even a popular treat associated with the Ramadan season. It's fun to imagine them trying to market that over here. There is a floral flavor called musk that is apparently quite popular in the Commonwealth nations of Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. They even have musk-flavored lifesavers over there. My friend struggled to describe what exactly musk flavor tastes like. Foreigners usually say it has a kind of perfumey taste. I liked how this one website described it. Musk is a bit generic. It's not earthy or animalistic like it sounds. It's more commercial, like the incense from a store in the mall. My guess would be that this is some sort of colonial relic from a time in which floral and spice candies were more popular in Europe before the great fruit revolution of the late 19th century. My Indian friends, meanwhile, were in pretty solid agreement as to what flavor you cannot escape in that country: mango. As as well as raw mango, which is apparently considered a distinct flavor as well over there. You can see that they have raw mango flavored Tic Tacs. The Indians seem to be pretty fond of fruit flavors in general, like orange and lemon and banana and grape, which I guess only makes sense since a lot of those fruits came from that part of the world in the first place. When I was Googling pictures of Indian candies, I came across this bag of Mentos marbles, which are apparently a popular brand over there. The traditional bag contains strawberry, banana, orange, watermelon, and mango. But then they also have this sour edition that has orange, lemon, and tamarind. Tamarind is not a fruit that I was very familiar with, but I was able to buy a box of them at the Indian import store. It's a sort of date-like thing that comes in this hard shell. And it's apparently the fruit that is often used as the base of fruity Indian sauces like chutney, or that reddish dipping sauce you sometimes get with samosas. And, as I learned from you guys, tamarind is also very popular way on the other side of the world. As my friend Skeeter put it, everything is tamarind flavor in Mexico. My friend Random Modnar gets into more detail. In Mexico, I would say that tamarind, guava, and mango are the holy trinity of candy flavors. Tamarind specifically is extremely popular. There's at least a half dozen candy items that are all tamarind based and all extremely popular. Also, generally, spice is much more important. Everything has chili dusted on it or mixed in. That's the real king of Mexican candy. And he's right. I looked it up and Mexico has like 40 different brands of tamarind flavored candy. A bunch of my Mexican friends brought up chamoy as a strong contender for inclusion in their country's flavor canon as well. Eater magazine describes chamoy as a salted, pickled, sour fruit, traditionally made from ume plums, which are really sour apricots, that's spiked with chilies. Apparently, Mexican kids love chamoy flavored candies and drinks, and chamoy sauce is a popular topping to put on ice cream or even mango slices. And just to remind, we are talking about the flavor of a salted, pickled, sour fruit that has been spiced with chilies. Mexico probably has one of the most unusual candy cultures in the world, in that purely sweet flavors aren't nearly as popular as ones that incorporate salty or especially spicy tastes as well. As my Mexican friend Julian says, funny how it's completely normal for candy to be spicy here. I often forget that that's almost completely unique to us. Further south, guarana, or eyeball fruit, is apparently another hot flavor with our friends in Brazil. They not only have guarana candy, but a very popular brand of guarana soda, as well as guarana Fanta. I see they even have ice cream with guarana in it. But lest we get too judgy of the Brazilians, apparently the high caffeine eyeball fruit is also the active ingredient in Monster energy drinks, in case you ever wondered what went into these. A number of you commented that in Asian countries like China, Japan, and South Korea, peach tends to be a vastly more popular flavor than it is here. This is because peaches are indigenous to China and have long been considered a symbol of beauty and luxury in Chinese-influenced countries. Melon, which usually means honeydew or cantaloupe, also tends to be a common fruit flavor in these cultures, as is good old mango and lychee. You know lychee, right? These little watery white ball things. I remember when I was in Japan, you would often see lychee flavored soda, even lychee Fanta. Those Fanta people don't miss anything. My Chinese friend Carolyn also says this. This isn't a fruit, but while we are on the subject of candy, cream and milk flavored candies are also extremely popular here. White rabbit candy, probably the most famous Chinese candy in the USA, is cream and rice flavored. I believe this comes from how children in China are given warm milk every day with their lunches, despite most of us being lactose intolerant. I know I've definitely seen a lot of milk flavored candies at the Korean supermarket in Vancouver. And I remember that in Japan, they would often sell those Pocky cookie sticks in milk flavor alongside the chocolate and strawberry kind that are popular in America, which always struck me as strange because over here, I think we tend to think of milk as being like a neutral non-flavor. I mean, we add strawberry or chocolate syrup to it just to make it taste like something. I wonder if in Asia they have milk flavored quick, you know, just to punch up the milk's milky taste. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little tour of the world of flavors. Videos about food culture are always a lot of fun to make. If you have any good ideas for a future food-themed video, let me know in the comments, and I will see you next week.